I thought I made a huge mistake booking this cabin because I never would have stayed here before. Even my PvP knows that I always want a king-size bed, and well, you can't do that with this cabin. But this smallest and least expensive interior cabin turned out to be one of my favorite interior cabins, and I've actually already booked another sailing with it. Let's find out why. My name is Ruben. I have spent over 200 days sailing on Carnival and earned Diamond, which is the highest status they offer. I sail exclusively out of Long Beach on the Panorama, Frenzy, and Radiance. I have made a ton of mistakes, so you don't have to. And I know these ships so well that even crew members watch my videos. Now, let's get into it by rewinding back a few months. In my journey to hit Diamond, I wanted to book another cruise and I found an amazing price on one. But it left in 36 hours and I would have been staying in a cabin that I thought was going to be a huge mistake. This was the absolute smallest and cheapest interior cabin on the massive Carnival Panorama. If you have never been on the Panorama, check out this playlist for my full ship tour and more. This is a Category 1A stateroom and was the last cabin available. Even my PvP thought I wouldn't want it, and I'll tell you why in a bit. Last minute cruise bookings. Okay, before we continue, quick side note with some things to note about last minute cruise bookings. I am not exactly sure what the cutoff is, but if you book a cruise with like 24, 36, or 48 hours notice, there are a few things that you need to know about. The first thing is that you will get flagged going through security. Nothing major, but at check-in, they will note that you will need to go through security and do a special security screening. You just get a little extra check while going through security. The other thing is that because this was such a last-minute booking, your sail and sign card will not be ready at your cabin. You will have to go to guest services to claim it. So instead of wandering around aimlessly like I did, coming back every 10 minutes checking if your cabin is ready, just go straight to guest services. But back to this cabin. Initial tour. First impressions as we walk in is, oh my goodness, there is so much room for activities. There is no denying that. At 160 square feet, this is labeled as a small interior and has less square footage than a normal interior cabin, which is 185 square feet. It's probably why it's also the least expensive cabin category. However, wow, just wow. There is so much floor space. It feels way bigger than even a balcony cabin. Let's do a quick tour. The first thing you see is the bed. Yes, it's a single twin, and that's why my PvP thought I wouldn't want it. I always cruise solo, and I always get 2 twin beds pushed together to make a king. So at first, my PvP told me this sailing was sold out because he thought I wouldn't even want this cabin. But because I really wanted to get those precious days towards diamond status, I thought I would suck it up and sail in what I thought would be a disaster. More on why I was wrong later. Now, you've got your standard stuff like the nightstand and lamp. Second, light switch above the bed. But wait, what's this up here? It is 2 portholes. That's right. Even though this is classified as a small interior cabin, there are these 2 secret upgrades that you normally have to pay for. First up are the portholes. Normally, you would have to pay for 2 cabin upgrades to get a window. First to a standard interior cabin, and then to an ocean view. Now, even though the portholes are smaller than your standard ocean view windows, the sunlight was pretty nice. But wait, what's this? It's another bed. Well, this is the second upgrade that you normally have to pay for. This is a bed that turns into a couch. More on this later. Okay, let's swing around and check out the desk area. First up is this coffee table that pulls out. I'll show you how that setup looks with the couch later on. Here is the desk area with your little seating stool, fabulously lit mirror, phone, and of course, bottled water that I prepay for because, well, it's a long way up to the Lido deck to refill my water bottle. You also have your cooler down here. You have drawer space with a hairdryer.
Restaurant at the middle of the ship, but
There are drinking glasses and these water bottles that you will get charged for if you drink or touch. Now you can see all the power outlets here. You have a 230 volt European, two 120 volt American, and two USB-B plugs. Now here are the closets. There are less than you usually get, so that is something to note if you are staying with a friend. One side has hangers. The other side has your safe, more space, and some drawers. Okay, let's check out the bathroom. This is a standard Carnival bathroom with your shower, plastic curtain, sink, and the usual accoutrements. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's get back to the cabin. After living here for 6 days, here is my honest take, and if I would book it again. The good. There were actually quite a few great things that I was really surprised about, considering that I thought I might regret my life choice booking this cabin. The first one is price. This cabin category is the absolute bottom tier and the least expensive cabin on the entire ship. Now, this can actually save you some considerable cash. Another pro is the upgraded portholes. That natural light is amazing, and you get these really cool photos looking through the torpedo tubes. The space. Wow, that is the first thing that everyone commented on when I went live in this cabin, with just how much room there are for activities. This cabin is just as spacious as these special square interior cabins. Now, if you haven't heard all about those, don't worry, check out this playlist here. Now, it did not matter to me, but some of you might love this. This cabin was actually at the very end of the hallway, so only people who walked here knew where they were going and that they were staying in the neighborhood. This means that it was pretty quiet, and some of you will love this. Now, my little whiteboard didn't see much action the entire trip and was kind of sad because of it. Now, my all-time favorite pro is the couch. Now, here's my controversial hot take. I actually spend more time on the couch than I do on the balcony. It could be the air conditioning or the fact that I feel the couch is more comfortable. Either way, I love having a couch, and having one here was definitely amazing. The bad, not being able to make a king-size bed. I admit it, I've gotten pretty used to bunking by myself and cruising solo, so I'm used to having that double the bed space, double the closet space, and double everything. So I thought I might roll off this teeny tiny twin in the middle of the night. I was pretty surprised that I did not miss the extra bed space too much, and was actually pretty fine with a single twin. Now, if you are a parent and doing a parent-child booking, this actually could be a great cabin for you too. But it's probably not great for couples unless you do the whole separate bed thing. Now, the only real thing I did not like was being on deck 2. Now, some of you will actually love that, but for me, personally, deck 6 and 7 are my favorite decks to stay in because I spend most of my time on deck 5 and take the stairs everywhere. Now the ugly? There wasn't actually anything. In fact, if these cabins were up higher on like deck 6 or deck 7, these would be my all-time favorite cabins. But because I love being in the middle, for the most part, I will trade not having a couch for being in a middle deck. However, when I booked a longer 8-day sailing on the Panorama next month, I actually picked this cabin again because I really do love it, and it was way less expensive than even any other interior cabin. But what do you think? Have you stayed in this cabin, or would you book it? Let me know in the comments below before checking out this next video.